Fame, wealth, power. Every human being wants all or some of these things. There's a lot of ways in which they go about this. One way in which they try to do this is through charts, currency, and a lot of stress. What am I talking about?
Forex.
When I first heard about Forex in my country, it was a while back, and it was one of those times where it felt like we were hearing about a new scam every other fortnight. I remember at the time there was one called Triple M. I don't know how it worked, but what I do remember is that people invested, and apparently they were getting quite ridiculous returns on their initial investment, which then obviously prompted more people to want to invest, and I'm sure you know how that story goes. But the more people invested, eventually the whole thing just came crumbling down and people lost a crap load of money. Forex seemed to follow the same trend. You'd always hear at the time people saying that you should invest with them and you would be guaranteed to make 3 or 4 times your initial investment within a few weeks, guaranteed. And you know what they say, right? If it barks like a dog, walks like a dog, it's probably a cat. Today we're going to be talking about Forex a bit. We're going to talk about whether it's actually a scam or if it's actually a way to get rich quick and easy. And more importantly, can you make a career out of it? What is Forex? I'm sure you're wondering. Well, to understand this fully, you have to start with the history of money, which starts with the barter system. And you don't care about that, do you? So let's just find a definition for this thing. So Forex, it stands for foreign exchange. Forex is a portmanteau of foreign currency and exchange, according to Investopedia. This just basically means it's all about the exchange of currency, changing one currency to another. Now, there's various reasons why you might want to do this. The most obvious one being if you're going from one country to another. So if I'm in Lesotho, I have Malut. If I want to go to South Africa, I exchange that for rands. Now, we're going to be focusing on the second reason, which is doing this whole currency trading thing for a profit. So how does this work? Let's start with something that you might be a bit more familiar with because, movies and Wall Street and all of that stuff. Stock trading. Well, how does that work? Well, with stock trading, this is where you are buying and selling shares of publicly traded companies. These companies would include ABSA, the MTN Group, the Anglo American, or the lesser known ones like Apple, Microsoft, Google. I don't know if you've heard of these. You might want to search them on some search engine, DuckDuckGo. Let's refocus. How do you make money of this? There's 2 ways in which you make money, or 2 primary ways. One strategy is the buying low and selling high. What does that mean? It means you buy shares at a low price and sell them at a high price. Let's say, for example, ABSA's shares are 5 Rand per share, which is highly unrealistic, but work with me here. So 5 Rand per share. Let's say you buy 5 million of these shares, right? Now, let's say a couple of hours later, a couple of days later, the share price goes up to 20 Rand per share. Now, again, that increase in share price is ridiculous, but bear with me. Then you sell at that price. That difference you would make a crap load of money, is the point. The second way in which you make money from stock trading is by shorting stock. This means you betting that the stock price is going to go down. So in this situation, it's like buying high and selling low. Now, this process is a bit more complicated. It even sounds counterintuitive, I'm sure, but I'm just going to let the dude in the video in the description explain it to you. When it comes to Forex trading, just take the stock and swap them out with currency. And the same principles basically apply. Let me give an example. As of the shooting of this video, the dollar is currently trading at 16 Rand 72 cents. What that means is if you're using rands, to buy $1, you would need 16 Rand 72. So let's say that you decide to buy X amounts of these dollars today. Then let's say a couple of days later, the price rises to like 20 rands for each dollar. If you sell at that point, again, the difference is your profit. Now, just like with shares, with this thing, you can also short a currency. So if you wanted to be a Forex trader, what you would need to do is open an account with a broker. What is a broker? Again, video link in the description. But in short, a broker is a company that connects you with the big banks so that you can make your trades. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, how do you decide when to buy and when to sell shares, or in this case, currencies? Well, there's two types of analyses that you employ to do this with Forex. The first one is called fundamental analysis. This type of analysis involves you understanding the external factors that might affect a certain currency. So it might be the GDP of a country, it might be the economic stability of a country, it might be world affairs, stuff like that. So this means that you would need to first understand what all of these things mean and more. And second, you would need to be very much always informed, be on top of your current affairs. The second type of analysis is technical analysis. This type of analysis does not focus on all that stuff. It focuses on you looking at the charts themselves and trying to see the patterns there. So you could get some historical data and look at how the prices of a certain currency behave and all of that, and make decisions based on that. Now, at this point, I feel like you might already start to realize that this is actually quite a lot of work. Whichever way you spend, whether it's technical analysis, whether it's fundamental analysis, it's just a lot of work. It's kind of difficult to imagine this being a scam, right? And it's really not. Can you be a Forex trader, and can you take it up as a career? The answer is yes, you can. Yes, you can. But from the research that I did, there's a couple of things that you need to get right. First, ideally, but not compulsory, get a formal qualification that is related to finances, so that you can understand exactly what is going on, so that you can understand how currencies work and all of that. So maybe a degree in economics or financial something. Second of all, set realistic goals. Forex trading is not what a lot of people out there make it out to be, where it seems like you just invest and then boom, you're a millionaire overnight. Delusions! Set realistic goals. And as a rule of thumb, I would say, if anything sounds too good to be true, it most likely is. In this world, yeah, anything that is done, like on an honest living, always comes with a bit of work, or a lot of work. Just something to keep in mind. Another thing is, be consistent. You have to try. You have to, there's a lot of trial and error in this particular thing, because you have to develop your own strategies of how to do this whole trading thing, which means you're going to try a lot, you're going to fail, which means you're going to lose money, probably for a very long time. And you need to just keep being consistent. You are not going to be able to ride that bike without getting a few bruises, man, and you just have to accept that. If you keep these in mind, you could make a career out of this. I think that's all I wanted to say as far as this is concerned. The question of the whole scam part of Forex. As we've discussed, the whole Forex thing in itself is not a scam, but there were some people who would most likely be using it to scam people. So how would this work? I'm not sure, but I would imagine that the whole idea of give me your money and then you will get 3 times the amount in 2 weeks' time. I think all of that had to do with those people just taking your money, and then instead of trading with it, or maybe even if they did trade with it, but they would take your money and then pay you back with somebody else's money type of thing. You know what I mean? So your money would pay somebody that they spoke to 3 weeks ago, and then somebody that they will speak to 3 weeks from now will be the one who would pay you type of thing. You get that? So they would probably, that's where the scam part of it would probably be. But Forex in itself, not a scam. It's just a lot of work and a lot of stress, because you will probably lose money. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about this. And peace.